Hello, I'm going to give you a quick overview of where I am at in the potential project of moving the medical treatment organizer for DD group homes to the Salesforce platform. Right now, what I have is kind of a random admin page for Salesforce, and I wanted to show you what it would look like as you went to the application. So I'm going to go to the app launcher and I'm going to click on MTO. The users would just go directly into the app uh, if we choose to go forward and set everything up right. First page that they would go to was just a kind of a dashboard, a collection of reports. These are the upcoming appointments. This would be like today's appointments and the appointments that are going to come up in the next few days. Current and overdue reminders, which are things that I'm actually sending out daily through email at the moment. Salesforce has a similar functionality in its subscription. So you'd take a report like this and you would subscribe to it. And how that works is you can choose daily, weekly, monthly, you can choose the days, and you can even choose the time, which is kind of cool. And you can edit the recipients. You can, choose who you want to send the report to. So it would be kind of like what I'm sending to them now. I'm going to have to test it a little bit. It may be that it shows up as an attachment, or it might be in the body of the email itself. I'm going to see. I actually haven't tested that yet. I'm going to send myself something, and then I'll report back maybe in the next video. But you can receive it through the email. Is the good news. So that functionality will continue. Okay, but now let's get into the actual meat of the app and go to the DD clients. I should say these are all actually based on real records, but I have obfuscated all that names, the client names and the guardian names and the phone numbers, except for the medical providers. The medical providers are publicly available, so I didn't bother with that. But let's go to John Penworthy as an example. And with Mr. Penworthy, you see the basic client info first. Then you see the client notes, which are the nurse entered stuff like notes to staff, diet orders, provider orders, and allergies. And then appointments, the very important appointments. And you can edit an appointment from the record right here. You can delete one if you want to, but you can just go, if you find an appointment, click edit, and you'll see the entire record, and you can actually change the record from here. I'm not going to change that. But sometimes if you see the little pencil, you can change it right there. But I don't see any pencils here for these sort of subform type records. So for here, you go to the drop down and go to edit. Prescriptions. There's 10 prescriptions showing, but you see a little plus here. That means that there's more. So you would click view all at the bottom of the subform, and then you would see all of them. And you can still do all your editings and your deletions and all the things that you want to do from this form. Now you can either click John Penworthy here, or you can click the web browser back button. Either way, you go back to where you were. Exams. The exams are set up kind of the same way in Salesforce as I had it set up in the current system, which is that it's largely driven by the appointments. So I will show you entering an appointment right now. And providers, searching for providers is a bit of a thing. It's if I write Tolson, I know see if it says show more results for Tolson, click on that and it'll actually show you a much more meaningful record of who you're looking at. So I would train people to use that search function, the advanced search, just to make sure you got the right person. But notice you can also do new provider. So if you know that it's a new doctor that isn't in the system already, or you've searched and you haven't found them, you could then add a record for the doctor right there while you are creating the appointment record, which I think is really cool because I can tell you the current system, you can't do that. You would have to leave out of that form, go create the doctor record, and then come back and create the appointment. So that's kind of cool. This it just shows the key value for the provider. I'm going to fix that in the next iteration should we go forward because that's just kind of clunky. It works, but I don't like the way it looks. Grayson, this also is a thing that I would get rid of because that should come over with the client. Appointment date. I'm going to say today. Appointment time. The current system, the time and the date are entered at the same time. It's a little weird. That's because it's kind of old. This is some new stuff, so they get to you get to enter the date and the time separately. Bone scan is going to be the appointment type. This is phony, obviously, and the reason I'm going to show you that is because I know that Mr. Penworthy does not have bone scan as an exam in his record. So I'm going to hit save. There's your bone scan appointment with Dr. Tolson, who is, in truth, I think is a dentist. So it's going to show up as a pending. And down here in the exams, you see that bone scan is now in the exams. And the next appointment is 3/20/2026. Now I'm going to go up to this bone scan appointment. I'm going to say this was kept. I'm going to hit edit. And I would just change the status to kept and hit save. And if you go down here, you would actually have to refresh. There's a little refresh button. And you see that the 3/20/26 is now the last appointment for Mr. Penworthy, and the bone scan exam is still there. Okay. I could go a little bit further. Below this is the insurance info, and I don't want to show any policy numbers. Hospitalizations are also down there. The reminders that are related to this client are going to show up here. You can create a new one if you need to. Actually, I'm sorry, that's the edit. Up here is the new. It's kind of confusing because over here you actually get a fancy new button, but over here this is a little bit more like simple. So you have to click the button and then you can hit new. And again, because we're in Penworthy's profile, it's going to already come up with his name in it. I love these little drop-down date things. I do have those in the current system, but they're not as cool. Okay, hit save. Then it shows up there. Okay. So, files. There are several different places where you can enter files that are related to the records. For instance, in the insurance info, I have files that you can upload related to the record for the insurance card, for instance, and have that insurance card file related to the insurance record. I do kind of think that maybe it would be better to just upload the files here, though. It's sort of contextual. Like if you enter the insurance card photo or scan or whatever to the record for the insurance record, you're going to have to go to that record to see that. So maybe that works for you. Maybe that's what you want to do. Or maybe you just want to have all the files related to the client here. But anyway, files are a thing in Salesforce. That is absolutely not a thing in the current system. You can't upload files to the MTO at this point in time. But in this system, you can. And I think that's actually cool functionality. Appointments. This is sort of an overview of all the appointments. You can use filters to look at particular appointments. If you want, you can, sort it by the house. You can sort it by the date. You can sort it by the provider. This is something I'm going to change. If you click on anything you see that's in blue, you can kind of click on it and get more information. So we're now in the provider record from having clicked on the provider key value. And you can see the details about who this is. This is Mr. Briner, and he is a podiatrist. And you can go over here to the related, and you can see this. You could potentially upload a file, and the file would be attached to Mr. Briner's record. Down here are appointments that are in the system for this doctor, which is kind of cool. So you can kind of go down a rabbit hole, right? Okay, and yeah, and again, you can sort of edit things from there, whatever you want to do. These are appointments, but you can edit the appointments from the doctor. So exams, these are all the exams. Oh, let's see. I think I got a filter on here. There they are. So you can, again, you can kind of sort things by the exam type or the client or the next appointment or whatever you want to do. And dashboards, there's really just one dashboard right now, and it's the same dashboard that I'm using for the homepage. So we are back to the start then, and that's kind of what I've got going on so far. And there's a few things that I would like to tackle. Like we would need to tackle getting signatures from the doctors. We would have to tackle what we want to show the doctors and how we're going to show the doctors the data that they need to see, kind of an equivalent of the doctor reports that I have in the current system and how that might work. But there's a lot of potential there in terms of options. Like I think that you could probably just show the doctor the data on a tablet and have the doctor sign on the tablet, and that would create a record that the doctor acknowledges having seen the prescriptions and the allergies and all of this stuff, instead of having a paper version. Or you could just print out the paper version from here. There's a lot of different things you can do, but I think it frees up a lot of options. And should have said this right off the bat. Every single thing that you have seen so far works on the phone. I had to futz with it a whole bunch, but I managed to get all of these things to show up on the phone app, and it really is kind of cool. It's a little bit clunky, obviously. Some of the reports, like this report, for instance, only is legible in landscape mode, but I got it to do landscape mode, which I'm very proud of myself about, because that doesn't happen in Salesforce by default. So that is where we are at now. I'm going to have to leave this project and go deal with some Anastasi stuff for a little bit. And then the big Salesforce project is not even going to kick off until much later, October of this year, 2026. So the question of whether or not this will go forward will occur around that time. So this is what's going on March 20, 2026, and hopefully this will be revisited in the future. Ciao.